Hello, you beautiful and amazing soul. Today, I want to talk about something that happens often in relationships, which is holding resentment against each other. I'm driving, so I'm not going to be looking at the camera that often. But if you can hear me, let me know in the chat. So, here's what happens. Maybe there are people out there that don't really know what resentment means. So what is a resentment? What is it when you resent someone? And a resentment is when you are feeling forced to be okay with something that you're not okay with. And so when we're talking about resentments, when it comes to relationships, then what we're talking about is something happens and then you're forcing yourself to be okay with it, even though you're not okay with it. And then what happens is that you resent that person for it. This is what happens when you yourself, right? There's a couple. But this is what happens when you yourself do not stick to your own boundaries. Now, what is a boundary? There's a lot of people out there that don't even know what a boundary is. They hear people talking about boundaries all the time. Like, what the fuck is a boundary? Like, what is that? Or I have boundaries, but there isn't really an explanation of what a boundary is. So a boundary is basically, I am holding myself to the standard. And I am going to keep to this standard. Give me a second because I'm crossing a busy intersection. Well, it's going to go fast, actually. I'm so grateful. I love how the universe keeps showing me how awesome it is. So I am going to keep to the standard. So let's just say, for me, I have a boundary of I won't talk to anyone after 8:30 p.m. That's my boundary. A boundary is I don't talk to anyone after 8:30 p.m. That includes guys, right? If I break my own boundary and choose to talk to someone after 8:30, then that's me breaking my boundary, right? But what will happen is the next day I will be tired and then I will resent that person that I was talking to because I broke my own boundary. Sometimes people can lead us to break our own boundaries too, right? Like maybe you don't want to take care of your sister's kids, right? That's me. I don't want to take care of my sister's kid. And so I have a boundary around that. Like, until I feel like our relationship is different, then I will volunteer my time. But don't volunteer me for me. That is my boundary. If she ends up volunteering me anyway, then that will make me feel like, oh, well, now I gotta say yes. Well, I'm still breaking my own boundary. She is leading me to want to break my own boundary, and then I do, and then I resent her for it. Okay? So that is what resentments are. Here's why I'm talking about resentments and how this takes people down a road and creates a cycle of toxicity and infidelity and disconnection. When you're holding a resentment for someone, let's say I'm talking to that guy, right? Later than 8:30 p.m. I wake up the next day and I'm really tired. And now that I'm really tired, now I'm resenting him. Like, fuck, I should have never talked to him. He already knows my boundary that I don't talk to anybody after 8:30 p.m. Like, now I'm starting not to like him. And he doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know that I'm starting not to like him. I'm starting to resent him because I was breaking my own boundary. What's the worst that can happen if I decided to say like, oh, I'm so sorry. I really want to talk to you and I really like you, but I can't because then I'm going to be tired tomorrow and sleep is really important to me. What he might say is, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just talk tomorrow. Or he might not say anything, and that might make me feel uncomfortable. But I'm still sticking to my own boundaries, right? The thing is that we are afraid to say no to people. When we say yes, then later we are creating resentments against them or resentments for them because we chose to say yes. Latinas are very good with being open about holding resentments. Like, I do all of this for you and I never get it back. Now you're resenting this person for doing so much for them when they didn't even ask for you to do that. And now you're choosing not to like them over something they didn't even ask you to do. And so now you're holding a resentment. Let me not say even Latinas, right? Women are very vocal about this. This doesn't mean that men don't have resentments and they don't feel this way either. Women are just more vocal about it. Men will make themselves like a martyr. They will like sacrifice themselves, even though they don't want to. They're breaking their boundaries because they're afraid to say no. And so they sacrifice themselves, but then they start acting different. And when they start acting different, women can sense that. Let's say we're talking about same-sex relationships. It's the same thing. We're talking about we're talking about feminine and masculine energy. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. These principles are the same in whatever type of relationship that you're in. So men also hold resentments. The thing is that they're not so vocal about it. They will hold it against you, but they won't do it in a way where a woman does it. What they will start doing is they will start disconnecting and looking for intimacy and connection somewhere else because now they have become, they have sacrificed so much, but they're not communicating it. And so then this leads to later that feeling of like, why does this feel off? Why do I feel uncomfortable? Why do I feel like I'm so far away from him and we're sitting right next to each other? This doesn't feel right. And he is not open and aware enough of his emotions to tell you that he is so tired of sacrificing. And he's afraid to tell you that he's so tired of sacrificing. And so instead of connecting with you deeper and being open with you, he's going to find intimacy and connection somewhere else. Is this your fault? No. Is it your fault that he is holding a resentment toward you? No. And this is for men. Is it your fault that she is holding a resentment toward you? No. Is it your fault that she is breaking her boundaries for you? No. However, what can you do if you sense this off energy? What can you do when you feel like you're at the other end of that, right? This person seems to be sacrificing a lot. They make it seem like it's not a problem to them, but I'm sensing this offness. It doesn't feel right. Call it out. That's the best thing you can do. Call it the fuck out. Call them out. I know it's scary to have those very difficult conversations, but the reason why it's scary is because you're afraid to lose them. You're afraid to be alone. And you're thinking, well, if I'm alone, then that's the worst thing that can happen. But the worst thing that can happen is you being unhappy in a relationship. That's actually the worst thing that can happen. So the best thing you can do is have that hard conversation now. Have that hard conversation now before it gets worse. Have that hard conversation now before you're too far in it and you already live together, you already have kids together. Let's just say you already live together, right? Let's say you already live together, you have children together, you have a home together, and it's been years that you've been feeling this energy that is off. Lupita, what do I do? it's the same thing. You got to call it out. You got to call it out. You got to allow yourself to have the hard conversation. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be, but it's still the same conversation. And what you can do if you're on the other end, right? Like now you're resenting this person because you broke your boundaries. What can you do? Like, fuck. I noticed that I should have never done that. And I did it and I kept doing it and I don't feel good about it. And now I don't know how to change things. Now I don't know how to stop. It's the same. It's the same solution. You have to have the hard conversation. And to be honest with you, the conversation doesn't need to be that hard. It won't be that hard if you just get it started. You're just afraid of what the other person is going to say, and they could be very receptive to it. They could be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. Please forgive me. I'd love to support you more in this. Let me know what I can do. Or they could like totally fucking flip out. Who knows, right? But you have to believe that you are worthy of the love that you want to have, where your boundaries will not be pushed and you're going to be respected no matter what. And if you don't believe that, that's where your problem is. If you don't believe that someone is willing to stay or that you're gonna be okay without this person, then that's a problem. And I would love to be in your corner to help you with that. But you avoiding having the hard conversations within the relationship is only going to make it even harder down the line. And this problem is not going to go away. It's only going to get bigger. The more you avoid it, the bigger it gets. The more you think about not trying or trying to escape it, the bigger it's going to get. The closer it gets to you. So you're trying to escape it and you're like running. And then the closer it gets to you, eventually it's gonna be like, get over your fucking scorpion. So it's so important to have those hard conversations in the beginning. And if you can't have those hard conversations in the beginning, fuck it. Have them in the middle. Have them at the end. But you avoiding saying how you really feel because you're afraid of what the other person is going to say isn't going to make the problem go away. And that has more to do with you than the other person. That has more to do with you not trusting yourself and not believing that you are lovable and worthy to be loved. And so that's why you're choosing not to have the hard conversation. You're making it about the other person, but it's not about them. It's about you. And so if you allow yourself to just be open, because you don't really know what that person is going to say, because you've never had this conversation with them before. So allowing yourself to have the hard conversation really opens up the door for openness within the relationship, for forgiveness, for compassion, and also for deeper connection. And when there is deeper connection, there is deeper everything. There's deeper talks. There's deeper understanding. There's deeper forgiveness. Like when you make love, it's deeper. Like it's deeper in every single fucking way. But if you're choosing to not go deep, then that is exactly what you're going to get. That's all I have time for today. I want to hop on and just talk about this because it's so important within relationships. And this isn't any different than in a work relationship. You don't have hard conversations at work either. And so because you don't have those hard conversations at work, you're also not connecting deeper. You're also not making clients that are seeing you in a different way, that are longer lasting and will continue to send you referrals and things like that. Like this shows up everywhere in your life. So if you can allow yourself to start doing it in one area, you're going to be able to do it in other areas as well. But you got to be able to have that hard conversation, and it has to do with you believing that it's going to be okay no matter what. And if you need help with that, I would love to be in your corner and get that conversation started with you, and be just a cheerleader and a supporter to let you know that it's going to be okay. Just in case you're coming across me for the first time, I'm Lupita V from Lupita V Coaching, Mental Health Consulting. I am a psychotherapist, coach, speaker, published author. I help professionals get past their relationship issues to start experiencing passionate and deeply connected relationships that end up affecting all areas of their lives, and that leads to them being happier and just attracting more abundance as well, more money. So if you're interested in doing this inner work that leads to happiness in all areas of life, leads to passionate, connected relationships, I would love to have that conversation with you. I am going to put my link in the information box area, in the caption area, to schedule a consultation with me. I have a promotion right now, like, to work with me has never been more affordable. So if you are interested in doing this work and ready to make the investment, book a call with me, book a consultation. I would love to get you started. I will talk to you later. Hey, Esme, I'll talk to you later. Have an amazing Tuesday. Bye.